Welcome. I'm Greg Kaminsky from Wings of the North, and today we will visit the Minnesota Aviation Hall of Fame at the Wings of the North Air Museum located at Flying Cloud Airport in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Let's meet up with Bill Norris, who is at the museum, and today will give the Hall of Fame its voice.
Good morning and welcome to the Wings of the North Air Museum. Today we'd like to show you the Hall of Fame has been in existence since 1988. It's been part of our museum for the last several months and we're very proud to have it here. Now the Hall of Fame includes more than 200 inductees. Some of them are politicians and businessmen who contributed to the development of aviation in Minnesota. Most are pilots, men and women, living and dead. And there's a lot of stories here. We certainly don't have time to go into all of them, but there's one in particular I'd like to tell you about. When you look at a map of the Twin Cities and you see our international airport, you'll see it's named Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, Wold Chamberlain Field. And I wondered, who are Wold and Chamberlain? Well, the story is told here at the Minnesota Aviation Hall of Fame. These gentlemen had several things in common. Both of their parents, fathers, were executives in the banking industry, and they both flew French-built airplanes during World War I. Cyrus Chamberlain graduated from high school in Minneapolis and attended Princeton University, then came home and worked for the Marsh & McLennan Insurance Agency until 1917. In May of 1917, he joined the French Air Service. This was before the United States entered World War I. So he joined the Lafayette Escadrille, which was a unit in the French Air Service consisting of American pilots. He flew a SPAD-13, which is a single-seat fighter, and in June of 1918, he was on a mission over enemy territory, and he spotted some enemy aircraft below him. He dove on the aircraft from an altitude of 12,000 feet, but it turned out to be a trap, and there were other German airplanes above him. They dove on Chamberlain, shot down his airplane, and he was killed. Lieutenant Chamberlain is buried in a French military cemetery. Ernest Wold grew up in Winona and then moved to Minneapolis and graduated from Minneapolis West High School. Then he attended the University of Pennsylvania. In November 1917, he went to Europe as a member of the American Expeditionary Forces, as the United States had entered the war at that time. And so he was part of the 1st Aero Squadron. He flew reconnaissance missions using a French two-seater called a Salmson. He was the pilot, and then there was a photographer observer who sat in the back. They were flying a reconnaissance mission on August 1st, 1918, when they were beset by a whole squadron of German fighters. The photographer was killed outright, and Mr. Wold was badly injured with his arm shot up by German bullets. He was able to bring the aircraft back to base using only his knees and his feet. He crash landed the airplane and was killed. Fortunately, the pictures that they took that day were usable, and they were helpful to the French forces who were fighting the Germans in the area. In 1921, Speedway Field in Minneapolis was renamed Wold Chamberlain Field. It is now known as Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, Wold Chamberlain Field. Wold and Chamberlain were two young men who were important to the history of aviation in Minnesota. Their story is told at the Minnesota Aviation Hall of Fame, housed at the Wings of the North Air Museum at Flying Cloud Airport in Eden Prairie.